Hi, I would like to tell an experience about how to program with the Microsoft Copilot together with the Home Assistant and ESPHome. So the story is we have two small kids who are 5 and 7, and around Christmas we have two small gnomes that move into the house, Peep and Pap, and they move in to help doing the Christmas gifts and so forth and make trouble. They of course have to have a house to live in, so I bought this smart farm on Amazon for around 50 euros, and I thought it could be a good example to work together with my boy and girl to build this and try to program it for me to learn something. It turned out to be quite a project. It took me 2 days to assemble this. The manual is around 150 pages. Half of the page is the assembly of the wood stuff and all the wiring into the ESP32. And then the rest of the manual is how to set up the software and learn how to code. And this was inside. It actually has many examples, around 15 different examples how the different sensors work individually. And in the end, they have examples about how to combine this into a captive portal on the ESPHome, where you operate it through a web page, or you can also convert it into an app, an Android app, or an iPhone app, where you can control the device via a little app. But I'm not very good at Arduino code. It's a little far away from me, and I have a background with Python and with some SQL. So that's quite a challenge for me, but at least the manual and the examples are really good. And then on the other hand, I had another project. We just recently moved into a new house, and I wanted to understand what is the temperature in the house. Mostly, I found an old Raspberry Pi in one of my boxes. I set that up into the basement. I bought two small temperature sensors, Sonoff, I think they're called. One measuring in the kitchen, one measuring in the basement. And I wanted to hook this up to Home Assistant to get an understanding of the temperature and humidity. Because I really don't want to have mold in my basement, and this was the base setup, which is now running. So I thought it could be a nice idea trying to convert this smart home with all its sensors into a Home Assistant. So this set comes with a lot of sensors, and it's a really good project, so you don't have to go and buy many individual pieces, but you can have a complete platform. It has an LED you can turn on. It has a display here. It has a humidity and temperature sensor. It has a light sensor. It has a steam sensor. It has a motor. It has a button. It has a motion sensor. It has a buzzer. It has a servo motor to open a gate. It has a water height, and has a moisture, and it has an engine. And yesterday, together with the Copilot, I actually, in the sense of around 8 hours, were able to slowly build my way to convert this to ESPHome YAML from the example codes they have from Arduino. And so, if I click the button, the engine, the motor fan goes. If I turn off the light, if I take the steam, then the music plays. If I turn off the light, the LED would go on. If I have the distance here closing, then the gate will open, and when I move away my hand, then the distance will close. I haven't implemented the water height, the moisture sensor, but the moisture sensor may be for plants outside or inside, because I forget to water or water too much. Could be nice, but I don't think I implemented here because water and electronics have never been a good idea. But there's a lot to learn here, and it's really nice. So as you can see, this one can operate individually, and it's also working together with that I can control it from Home Assistant. So I can open the gate here, I can turn on the light manually, I can see the distance, I can see the light looks changes. I don't think the units are correct. Still haven't converted that correctly. When I push the steam here with my finger, the steam increases. Should be normally be water. And I've set up automation that when the steam is above 2, then the buzzer starts playing. I can control the fan here, and I can also play the buzzer myself by clicking here. So how did I go about this? Well, I went into to Copilot, and then one of the tricks is that you first have to do an instruction. So I made an agent instruction that would look like this, and let's just copy paste it into the manual here and start doing it. You are a helper writing YAML code, and your input will be either the current YAML, and you will help to understand, or you're giving this Arduino code from the manual. And then my code, my wife says this trick about that you can write something about that it shouldn't give you feedback right away, because I will work in the sense I will give it all the context information I have, and then I wanted to respond. So she said, if you can write a sentence like this, where you can give it multiple input, and then you have to give it a keyword. And it could be any keyword, but we used banana here. So it has already understood this, and with the banana. And then please go and share your existing on Arduino. So I go into the ESPHome builder, where I already have the code. I copy paste this code into here. This is the current YAML code. Paste it in here. And then if we look at the code examples that are given from where you buy it, this KS0567 Key Studio Smart Farm, they have these examples. The first 10 or so examples are for the individual sensors, where you do it in Arduino, you put it in, you compile, put it over, and so forth. Really good examples. And in the end here, they start combining it. The number 11.1 here is where you do a captive portal on the device, and you log on to the IP, and then you can control it. This is 11.1 and 11.2, and then 12 is that you convert it into a kind of also a home page, but there you can then download a little app for your phone, Android or iPhone, and then you can control the device over the app. This is really nice, but you also are getting locked in to that you have no control over such an app on your phone. So that's why I wanted to convert this into Home Assistant, because there is also an app for your phone that works together with Home Assistant. And it would just be a really nice learning experience how to put up a dashboard and how to control this. So now we have put in the running code, and now we want to implement the temperature sensor, because I don't have put that in here yet. So I have found the code here for the temperature sensor. This is this one, this is this file, and you see this is Arduino code. It looks for me like C code. So I'll just copy paste this in. Copy. This is an Arduino code for temperature sensor. Put that in. And then please implement the temperature sensor to display the value in Home Assistant and print it to the LRD display. So let's see what it does. And now I have to give my banana keyword, hopefully in a second here. Or maybe it just goes. I haven't written banana. Let's see how this works out. It just went through. But as we see here, it has this that it's just in the sensor. We have already existent. Then I can add in this here for the sensor. And one of the things that we have to look for is to have the right pin. And there are a lot. I've used almost all the pins here. And of course, this information about which pin it is comes from the example code. So it captures that. Let's just have a look at that example code. Captures here that up here is the definition of where they actually define this number 17. And this is where one of the faults, if you're not used to program, these details about which pin and so forth can be a little hard. So it captures that. And then you would go in and put this under the sensor. So I will copy paste this into my sensor. And you have different sections where we have the sensor down here. I already have the ultrasonic sensor. I have the photo cell light sensor and the steam sensor. So we'll go in and copy paste it in here and have a look at it. Does it look reasonable? I can compare it to the other one. And we have the humidity. Here the update interval is 30 seconds. I would probably set that to 1 because the other ones are each second. And if we're gonna do the display, it has some kind of display mode with doing this, but we can see here that we could print it like this with another screen because it captured already the interval. The interval is hiding down here. I have already done that. So maybe just changing to 3 because this would be the third page of information. And then I will modify the lambda function. It has already captured there's two pages here, and I can add it in here. And this is how I work through today. It was really nice to have Copilot as your co-programmer to get a good sense. But there were also times where it didn't capture it really well. And where I have to go in to look up the forum messengers for other people in the community of Home Assistant that could supply good knowledge and the small fallbacks. So a good example of that was I have the servo motor and the fan. And here I put the frequency of 50 because that's what the manual says. And there I put in 1200 down here for the motor as well because that is what the other manual said. But having different frequency turned out that if I put 1200 here, then the servo motor stopped functioning. And I actually tore apart the whole thing to figure out that it was not a hardware fault, or something got locked, it was a frequency fault here. So that Copilot couldn't help me, but I found good knowledge on the manuals of ESPHome and other people in the community, so it was a great experience. The same for the LED display. Has a default value of frequency, I think, according to manual with 50. Copilot didn't capture this, but I could upload the code, it could show the display, but when I rebooted as unplugged and plugged in again, it wouldn't boot up and had to do with the firmware and blah, blah, blah. And again, on a forum message, someone said, try to put a frequency of 200 kilohertz. Someone else had this, and this actually solved the issue with being able to reboot the system for that. So you have to combine the input from the Copilot. It can be a really good helper for get you going. And then when you get stuck, you have to learn. If you don't know it yourself, you have to learn. And you learn by reading the manuals, or you go in and Google it, and you find really a lot of work from some cool people out there doing a lot of fun stuff. Watching YouTube videos And I would just say that it's been a really nice learning experience. And for me, I learned a lot about, not so much about Arduino, but I learned how to work together with Copilot. And I learned how to combine that knowledge into getting this working. I hope you will enjoy buying a similar kit. Now my kids are very happy for playing music on this, which my wife is not a super fan of. But as you found again on here on the ESPHome here, I find out that there's a lot of funny tunes out there. You can get to play Star Wars or Mission Impossible or Mario. Maybe I can figure something out that it plays different tunes, maybe depending on the temperature. But it's a really nice platform to figure out with a small demo home. Like I checked the demo home with all the sensors. How could I implement some of these sensors in my own house? And I think with the moisture sensor for the plants is one of the first thing I'll look into, simply because then our plants would be on a much better mood than this. I hope you'd enjoy it and have fun with co-programming with the Copilot, and have fun with this super fantastic Home Assistant framework. It is really a nice piece of software and really fun to learn a lot of stuff.